welcome to the Lincolnshire Buzzcast, a podcast where we take a real-life humorous look at life in Lincolnshire, as well as interview some amazing people who are doing some fantastic things in the county. I'm Lizzie.
I'm Danny.
And I'm Hannah.
Coming up on today's podcast, Ellie tries to convince us that Dumbledore is better than Gandalf, with zero success.
Hanna sings Buffy the Vampire Slayer beautifully.
And Lizzie reveals to us that she hasn't heard of the trio Gutenberg, Danson and Selick.
Hello and welcome to episode 11 of the Lincolnshire Buzzcast, and we are so excited to welcome back the delicious tones, the Yorkshire sass that is Hannah Story. Welcome back to the podcast, Hannah.
I feel like I needed a drum roll. She's back.
We have missed you, and with Hannah today we have again welcomed back by popular demand, obviously, because for all the fans and things, we have the lovely, beautiful sounds of the young Ellie.
The young Ellie, oh, thank you.
Are you going with Ellie today? Because I listened whilst I wasn't on the podcast, and you called her Eleanor.
I didn't call her Eleanor. She introduced herself as Eleanor. It threw me right off.
Did I introduce myself as Eleanor?
You did, which is why I went, Eleanor?
Yes.
Did I actually?
You think you had your phone voice on?
I don't think I've ever called myself Eleanor.
Listen back to the first episode. I promise you introduced yourself as Eleanor. It wasn't me. Or was it me? I feel like it was you, but it could have been me. Maybe lying now.
I feel like I definitely did not call myself Eleanor. When have I ever done that?
It's not like I can lie. It's not like there's not actual recording evidence to go back on. You don't have to get far into the episode because it was one of the very first things that was said. Eleanor.
I'm really doubting myself now. Did I call myself Eleanor? It's getting me panicky. I swear I didn't.
Did people sing Eleanor Rigby to you a lot at school?
No, because again, I'm young. So no, they didn't sing that to me.
Your breed haven't heard of the Beatles?
We've heard of the Beatles. We don't often sing it to each other.
Just skipping down streets singing it to each other.
I'm going to start doing that to you every time I talk to you now.
I didn't actually know that was a Beatles song either.
Well, actually, this brings us nicely onto our topic for today. So what we wanted to take the time to talk to you all about is popular culture, because the cinemas are reopening again. We might finally get to watch James Bond this year. I don't know. Has it been scheduled back to 2022? One of you guys might tell me. And things are starting to open up again, so we can finally see things like Black Widow, which we're all very excited to watch when that comes out. So we thought we'd have this time to talk about our favourite films, the things that we're looking forward to, stuff, series that we're watching, everything like that. So if you are sat at home and you are either filling up your diary, catching up on some stuff, or you want a new show to watch, or you wanting to know what to watch at the cinema, then this is the podcast for you.
I mean, we can't guarantee that we're actually going to talk any sense. We're just going to talk a load of waffle.
I think if they've heard the podcast before, they'll probably get that.
We are now film critics.
Yes.
Well, first things first, we need to address what is the elephant in the room. I guess Ellie has mentioned this on a previous podcast. Me and Hannah are absolutely appalled. But Ellie doesn't like Lord of the Rings.
I'd like to clarify. I did not say I did not like Lord of the Rings. I said I tried to read the book and I could not get used to the language, which is not anything against the story. It's probably just my reading ability.
As a young one, she doesn't understand Hobbiton-ish. Or what is the language?
Right.
Do you mean like the Elvish in there, or do you actually mean like the way that it's written?
Yeah, the way that it's written. I feel like I'm back in English literature lessons where you don't actually know what the sentence means.
Did you take my advice and listen to it on Audible?
I was going to, but I don't want to waste my credit on something that I might not like. Right, so I watched.
So basically, booked here. No one replaced me with. What is going on? No, Ellie. No. Wipe that chip off your shoulder, my friend. In fact, you're not even my friend anymore because you don't like Lord of the Rings.
No. She said you didn't like the books. Have you seen the film?
Yeah, so I've seen the first film and I like the film and I actually know what's going on now.
First film?
Yeah, the first Lord of the Rings film.
She didn't carry on and watch the
I
rest of
know.
it.
What?
No,
You're not
well-
committed. What is
Well,
occurring?
if you'd let me explain. So, I read the first book, and then I watched the first film, and then the plan was stop shaking your head.
Sorry.
And then my plan was read the second book, then watch the second film. But I've got halfway through the second book, and I don't want to read about them walking anymore. So I'm just going to watch the film. So basically, all I've done is read pages and pages of them walking either through a forest, now they're walking up a hill, now they're walking up a mountain. So basically, I'm not that interested in walking.
But I'm not going to lie, but it's not just a mountain, is it? It's Mount Doom. Let's be honest.
I like the
You
Hobbit.
can't just... You're just wrong. You are wrong. Okay, so the Hobbit book, meh. It's okay. The films, we're not even going to talk about them because they just don't
Yes,
exist.
I love the films.
No. Well, I can't be friends with you either. But
I'm going to be sat in the room all by herself soon.
Genuinely, I think the best way to do, because I read the Lord of the Rings, then I watched the films, and then I read Lord of the Rings again, and it is genuinely better if you watch the film and then read the book, because you've got in your head the voices and the characters.
What is actually going on?
It makes it a lot more realistic. I genuinely think that you need to watch the films first, like have a genuine binge watch, extended editions, and you watch them all, and then no, don't curl your lip at me, girl. You need to watch all of the films. Honestly, get yourself some marshmallows, get yourself some nibbles, because it's a long haul. You need to...
Oh, marshmallows doesn't go with Lord of the Rings. You need some...
All right. What superior snack do you have?
It's obviously potato-based snacks, because they talk about potatoes.
Boil and mash them, stick them in a stew. Yes!
Obviously, marshmallows. They weren't around in the time of Middle-earth.
No, they weren't. Okay, right, go on then. I'll let you... Yeah,
But
let you off.
The films are great, and I would actually recommend watching the trilogy like that first, and then maybe going back to read the books, because I didn't read the books first. I read them after. So I would recommend that's a good way to do it. As for the Hobbit films, though,
I love the Hobbit films.
Exactly. I'm not saying they were better than Lord of the Rings, actually. And I think, Ellie, you need to set yourself aside a day and watch all three in one day, because that's like, you just get the epicness then. But the Hobbit was not as good as Lord of the Rings, but they were still an epic trilogy set of films. Like, it was great. The acting was fantastic. They had Luke Evans in it. He was amazing. Martin Freeman, fantastic actor. Like, Benedict Cumberbatch, who's one of my favourite actors that ever exist ever, did a fantastic job of being Smaug. Like, it was great. And Stephen Fry's in it.
I was just about to say, you missed the greatest man of all time. Why was he
what's
not
your
top
boggle
of your
with
list?
the Hobbit?
I don't know. What I don't like in The Hobbit, now this is going to get geeky, so I apologise to listeners who are not the geeky ones, but if any of them can answer this question, this is one thing that really bugs me. So... I remember watching the extras that you got with the extended edition DVDs, and it was like interviews and stuff with the actors. Oh God! And it's Orlando. You know my understanding and my beef with Orlando. So it was Orlando, and he was explaining in Lord of the Rings how Legolas is very pure, sort of, he doesn't understand the ways of the world and things like that. So I was like, oh, like, bless him, bless Legolas. And you kind of see that progression of him coming from an elf who's never really seen conflict, he's never really experienced death and things like that. And then obviously by end of 3 films, spoiler alert, he has seen a lot of death and he becomes quite a good warrior. But The Hobbit is pre-Lord of the Rings, and he is already this amazing warrior elf. I'm so baffled.
Well, yes and no. So I get it, and that's not the film's fault, by the way, because that's the writer's job there, because he's still
Do not pick on Peter Jackson.
However, that's what I said. It's not the film's fault. However, he's not. I wouldn't say at the end of Hobbit, Legolas has seen it all, done it all, and understands stuff. He's had that quick. He basically hasn't really very much left the woodland realm, is what it appears. He just leaves because he follows old she-elf. So there's still that experience that he's had, but that's all very new and fresh. Like, he's not sort of very much used. By the time he gets to the Lord of the Rings, he's gone and seen a lot of stuff, and like he grows more as the film goes on and stuff like that. But like at the end of the Hobbit, he basically says, "Go find Aragorn." So that's like I don't think that much time has passed. Well, obviously some time has passed because Bilbo's got old. Anyway, we should probably move off Lord of the Rings because the whole podcast can't be on this, because anyone who has started to listen to it and hasn't seen Lord of the Rings probably is thinking, is this the whole podcast about it? Like,
and I have one final comment.
Okay. It depends on what it is. If it's rubbish.
I am not dissing the story of Lord of the Rings. I think the story of Lord of the Rings is great. Just the language and the way the book is written is too old for my tastes. That is my final thing.
Let us move on to something that is your taste and is very much Hannah's taste as well. Something that I have only just come to the hallway recently because I've been forced from my daughter, but Harry Potter.
Oh, okay, not dinosaurs, we're going Harry Potter.
Okay, yes.
So I've been absolutely resisting Harry Potter for a large amount of my adult years because I think I was maybe too old when it came out. I don't know.
You were too old when it came out. I was going to say, you're younger than me. You just had a birthday. You're the same age as me.
I was only by a couple of months. But it's something that it didn't really excite me. I wasn't really interested. I was very much into the Lord of the Rings when I was younger. I wasn't really interested in doing anything to do with Harry Potter. But my daughter is obsessed. So I decided to watch and get my head around it so I understood what she was saying to me. I think it's all right. I get why people are like magical about it. Like it's all right. Like it got a bit silly towards the end. I think all consistent.
You're silly.
I've got issues with it. Like they are 3 children and they were consistently allowed to get into so much danger, and for some reason had to be the one that fought off Voldemort when the adults were just okay with just letting that happen for some reason.
He was the chosen one.
Yeah, he was the chosen one, but does it mean they had to let Ron and Hermione wasn't?
They chose to. Yeah, no, you don't even know the names. They chose to. It's like Sam and Frodo. Sam decided to go.
Oh, we're not
Frodo.
Back to this, are we?
Yes, we are back to this because I believe in this.
Where was the other supervision? Why was Dumbledore happy to go? Like, yeah, off you go. Like, go with them.
Well, he's old, isn't he? You wouldn't make Gandalf do everything, would you, old lad? Look, he tried to do everything and Gandalf died.
Well, firstly, you're never too old to read Harry Potter. So my granddad read the books a couple of years ago, and he's obviously old. He's a granddad. He's like in his 70s. No offence to anyone who's in their 70s and think they're young. I also think you're young. I did not mean it. One thing he did do though is that he read Hermione's name the whole series through as Hermione. He thought her name was Hermione. And then he watched the film and he was like, oh.
Well, riddle me this, as you might be on my daughter's side of this one, Ellie, and I feel like I know what side Hannah comes down on, which will be mine. Dumbledore or Gandalf?
Dumbledore, because Gandalf in my head is irrelevant because I'm not that big of a Lord of the Rings fan.
Right, well, you need to get into the Lord of the Rings and you will soon change your tune, my friend.
Dumbledore is not better. No. Because when Dumbledore dies. Gandalf doesn't die. He comes back even better for a start. So that's point 1 why he's better. Point 2, he doesn't sit in his office and let small children fight his battles. Gandalf is on that battlefield. He is kicking ass with his stick.
It's a staff, not a stick. It's his staff.
Yes, I obviously know. But he's hand-to-hand combat as well as magic. He's got, and he's older than Dumbledore. So,
well, I thought we weren't talking about Lord of the Rings anymore, but yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings have got a lot in common, haven't they?
Oh, yeah.
Group of friends that go off. We've got the wise old wizard. We've got the nasty bad guy that's a figment of their imagination and then becomes real, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah.
Yeah, Gandalf's better. End of.
And he is, yeah. Agreed. Next.
So what I want to know is, them two aside, we obviously know that myself and Hannah love Lord of the Rings. Ellie's a big fan of Harry Potter, as is Hannah. But what is, them two aside, what is your favourite film, Ellie?
Oh.
Ellie, if you let me down here, you only watched it the other day. I swear to God, if you don't say the film that you watched the other day.
Oh, do you want me to say Apollo 13?
Of course I want you to say Apollo 13.
Tell her what a favourite film is.
No.
Your favourite film is not one thing that you've only just seen. Like, what is your favourite film?
I feel like I'm just being pressured here, so yeah. Apollo 13 was a very good film. I wouldn't say it was my favourite, but yeah, it was very good.
I'm still not sure we can be friends with that answer.
I think you can have different favourites for different things. I think.
Yeah.
So I have a film that I like, that I watch, that makes me feel happy, like that, like cheers me up. That, you know, I just like, it's a bit of a trashy film. I enjoy watching it. I've got one that's like, ooh.
What is it? What is it? Tell me.
Well, one of my favourite films of all time, it's not my happy chipper go-to film, but one of my favourite films of all time is Taken. I love it. I just love it. I love it. I love it when he does the phone call. It's like, I've got an important set of skills. Like, I don't know why I did it in that voice. I just love it. I love everything about that film. I think it's really good, and I think it's really well made. I think it's really well acted. I love that film. But
what do you think of the second and third one, then?
No, not so good.
Yeah.
One of my favourite go-to films to make me feel happy is Love Actually. I love that.
I was going to say that. Yes. It's also not just they used to play it like all the time on ITV2. I think ITV2 only has the rights to play The Hobbit, Love Actually, and Jurassic World. That's the only 3 films they can ever play.
That is true. But there's three good films out there.
Yeah, there are 3 good films.
Yeah, I'm going to go with my favourite set of films. I love Jurassic Park just because I love dinosaurs. And I'm so excited for the new one to come out because it's bringing the old and the new cast together, and it just really excites me.
I am very excited about that. I love dinosaurs. As you know, my husband and son are obsessed.
Yes, love dinosaurs. Yeah, I agree with you.
It's actually some sort of franchise that brings wizards and dinosaurs together.
Yeah.
That would encapsulate my daughter, my son, my husband, all of them. In fact,
maybe we should become film writers. I mean, you've got your drama qualifications. Let's become screenwriters and stuff. We'll be at Oscars next year.
I think we would argue all the time.
Jurassic Park is a great one. My son loves dinosaurs, but he's too scared to watch Jurassic Park still. Like,
and it is scary. It is scary. One of my friend's sons. The new ones, you know where the Brachiosaurus, you know where the volcano erupts, spoiler alert, volcano erupts, and the Brachiosaurus is stood there on the edge of the island and then gets engulfed. You can't watch that scene.
That bit's
just
really
that one
sad.
scene. It is, that's really disturbing.
I think Harry did actually get through the first Jurassic Park. Like, that's the only one he was quite scared of it, but he managed to get through that. He will not get through Jurassic World. That is too scary for him. Yeah. Which is odd because he loves Owen and he loves Blue, but he watches the Lego version. Like, it's the moment that the Dominus Rex breaks out and he's like creeping around. He cannot go on from there. He's too scared. But I will never let him watch the second one because that's the one where they've got the dinosaur on the child's bed in their bedroom. I was like,
yeah.
What were you thinking? What kid is going to watch that?
I remember going to the cinema to see Jurassic World, obviously, which is the first modern one. I just remember being so excited when they showed the park, and I felt like they'd actually opened it, and I was there. I was just like, yes.
But that's amazing, isn't it? That films can actually make you feel that way. Like, it just got totally engulfs you.
I was just sat there like, they did it, and then it went wrong, and I was just like, oh, they should.
Watched Lucifer yet, have you? You've not watched the end of Lucifer. So Lizi is halfway through the second stint of what we're on, season 5 now? Yeah, season 5. And you've not watched the last few episodes yet, have you?
No, because I've talked to you guys. Oh, you're getting away my Lucifer watching.
I haven't watched it.
You need to. It is.
Is that the one with Tom?
good.
Is it Tom?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
I only know him.
He is my
Yeah.
total celebrity crush.
I was going to say I only know him from Miranda.
Yeah, but he's so good as Lucifer. Like his character in Lucifer is absolutely fantastic. Like I think the depth of character that he's got in that, like, it's just incredible. I love it, and I was completely roped into it and binge watched it the other night after work. And oh my, I'm not going to spoil it because it's literally just come out on a streaming service. Other streaming services are available, but it's on Netflix. And you invest in that, you emotionally invest in that, and
Well, before we jump onto streaming services, we just need to cap off films for a minute because we haven't actually heard your favourite film, Hannah.
Yeah, you haven't. I think I'm like you, that I've got like different films for different.
It's going to be like Armageddon, isn't it?
No, it's not. What kind of film do you think
Great
of?
film.
It is a great film, but it's not.
Armageddon is a great film. I was just thinking anything to do with space, it's going to be that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Apollo 13, fantastic film. Tom Hanks, absolutely incredible. Like, love Tom Hanks. Fantastic. Brilliant. But Apollo 13 is not my favourite film. It is a great film, and it is up there, probably in my top 5. But my go-to happy film is Three Men and a Baby.
Never seen it.
What? Right, well, you need to, because the trio of Gutenberg, Selleck and Danson, you need to watch that. You need to watch that. Three Men and a Baby. It is a good laugh out loud, like true as life story, like that you can just see it and you go, yeah, that definitely happened in real life. Like, yeah, I can see that happening in real, and it's such a good feeling film.
So for me, Netflix-wise, and ladies everywhere, and Ellie, I recommended this to. It's got to be Bridgerton. Although men can watch it too. There's reasons for men, but it's beautiful. Anyone who loves romance for a start, yes, tick. Regency era, amazing for me. Love all that kind of stuff, tick. It's got a very handsome man in it, which is very good too. It's got an awful lot of naughty bits, so if you've not seen it before, it's definitely not one to watch with any small children around, or if you're a teenager, definitely don't watch it with your parents in the room.
Creepy.
Because it will be embarrassing, because there's an awful lot of naughty bits too. But it's just a beautiful story, and like it's so nice. And I think I always get captured in all, like, this is what attracted me to Lucifer. I love that whole will they, won't they, that romance story. That is what pulls me in. I love it. I'm an absolute sucker for it. It's nothing learned. It's nothing highbrow or educational or anything like that. But it is fantastic, and I love it. And I've just started reading the books now as well, because I can't wait for the other one to come out. And I've loved them. I've loved them so much that I have read them till like 2:00 in the morning with no regrets, and because I just wanted to finish them because I love them. So I finished the second book, to much to the annoyance of my husband because I kept him awake. And the third book has just arrived today, and he said to me, "I think you know your way of reading that." He's downstairs and nowhere in bed. But it's fantastic. It's a great acting. It's great acting, beautiful storyline, and actually they've got a very diverse cast. It's one of those really exciting things that they've done. So they've actually got. I think that there's actually even 50 split. I think, which is quite nice, and it's not. They've obviously, of the time of the Regency era, there was a lot of racial issues because there wasn't equality in that time, but they've not cast it like that. There's a huge sort of breadth and diversity in the cast. So even in between the families and stuff like that. So they've actually just gone for the talent of the actor rather than actually fitting it to the period of the role, which is amazing. It's beautiful to see. So you get some performances that you've not seen before, for some people you don't know. So absolutely worth a watch.
I'll add it to my list.
But without your parents and grandparents around. So Ellie, what are your binging recommendations?
Well, I feel like obviously a big one is Friends. I literally will watch Friends all the way through and then just start it again.
Yeah.
It's timeless.
Yeah, I finally watched the reunion.
Great.
I've not watched it yet, so is it worth it? Is it genuinely worth it?
I like the bit where they talk about how, like, you actually feel like they're your friends and it makes you feel so much better. And that show, actually, it is true. Like, they are, like, I feel like Friends for me is kind of like a comfort blanket.
It is, but you think you find when you lose that show, like, it's the same when you finish a book, when your series finishes, it feels like they're these friends and you're really invested in that story. That's why you feel so deflated afterwards, because you're like, I want to see those people again. Like,
that's why it's so great to show that you just start again. And I feel like each time you appreciate a new joke in an episode that you probably maybe didn't appreciate before, and that's why it's so great, because each time you can pick up a new joke. My favourite part in the whole part of Friends is when Ross is playing the bagpipes and he goes, "Sing along if you know it," and then Phoebe's just there like and then you can just see Jennifer Aniston next to her just laughing her head off because she can't hold it in.
It's hilarious. I obviously love the bit that Monica proposes to Chandler. I love that, but I can't watch it without crying. It's just beautiful. It is really good. But I love all the flashback episodes. They're all really good.
Yeah, the 80s, dancing, the prom. Oh, yeah.
Like, he's a lobster. I had that quote somewhere. I love Friends. I had so much the fact I was such a geek that I had the Friends game as a kid, and people stopped playing me at it because it was one of them games that if you don't lose your turn unless you drop a question, and I never dropped a question. No one got to go.
That's me with Harry Potter trivia. I have to be the one to read out the questions now, as apparently it's really boring. Because
I'd love my daughter to play you at that, because she'd give you free money.
Oh, let's do it, yeah.
Game on.
I was surprised you said Friends, actually, because I was expecting you to say the thing that you've made me and Hannah watch recently.
Oh, Line of Duty.
Yeah.
That's not on Netflix, is it?
It's a streaming service. You can still watch
it's BBC, isn't it? It's a streaming service, yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So I didn't watch it when it was actually on, like, the early seasons were on TV. And then I saw, obviously, the new one was coming out and just, like, the hype on social media. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a go. It's probably going to like any other detective thing. And, oh, my God, I got well into it. It's just...
Oh, yeah. Me and Johnny absolutely love it now since you made us watch it. Literally, every time we see a police car, we're like, I wonder if they're dead.
I just think... I don't know what about it is so good compared to other detective dramas. Because obviously... Like, it's all detective dramas are pretty similar, but what makes this... Is it because it's the perspective of the police, that the police are the bad guys? Do you reckon that's why it's so good?
Maybe, yeah.
It's just well written. They managed to tease it out, like, till the end, which is quite good. So
they did, and then the end. Let's not talk about the end. We'll just pretend it didn't happen.
I also like seeing the evolution of Kate's hair and just seeing what it's going to look like for each season.
Yeah, she went back to the old style at the end, didn't she? Back again to the
there was one season where it was long, and I was like, oh no, Kate, I thought go back.
Yeah, well, it took me a while to realise it was her with it. I was like,
One thing I don't understand is how she can go undercover in every season. That part does baffle me.
Yeah, that's why she changes her hair every so often.
And like, she doesn't even change her name either. It's just still Kate in each one.
Yeah, you'd think they'd be talking in staff rooms, wouldn't they? Like, oh, have you got a new girl called Kate? Oh, where are you?
I think realistically, it's supposed to be so it's not always in the same police station. I think it's supposed to be in different.
But you think they talk? Yeah, everybody. Who's got Kate this week?
Exactly. Yeah. No, I thought that came a bit silly, which is maybe why they had to promote her so she couldn't go undercover anymore. It just wouldn't work.
That's it. You're on a wanted poster in every police staff room, and they all know it's you.
Absolutely. So, Hannah, what's your binge watch recommendation?
Buffy, 100%. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yeah, love it. I mean, season 2, I could watch that. I'm like you, Ellie. Like, I can watch the entire Buffy and then just go back and watch it again.
I've never seen that one either.
Oh,
Buffy was my whole teenage life.
It was, wasn't it? What were you? Were you a Spike or an Angel?
Angel. I was obsessed with David Boreanaz. Like, I loved him. I had posters everywhere. Like, I absolutely loved him. Like, yes.
No, I was Team Spike, me.
No,
I have no idea what you're on about.
Well, you are quite young, to be fair, and it was mine and Hannah's teenage year, so
Yeah.
When people say vampires, I think of Twilight, and let's not get on to reviewing that.
Let's not talk about that. No. You need to
it was
watch
good.
Buffy.
The musical episode of Buffy, I loved.
Yes, once more with feeling.
me and my brother, there's a video somewhere, a VHS somewhere, of when we decided in our foolish youth to set up a camera and reenact the Buffy musical because I had the soundtrack, obviously. So there is somewhere where we literally, I'm playing Buffy and I think he's playing all the, I'm playing all the girl characters, he's playing all the boy ones. We're all like reenacting it out. Like, oh my days, he listens to this podcast and he's dying of shame right now, I imagine.
But more importantly, what was your favourite song out of the musical episode?
Oh, I can't remember how it goes because I've not watched it for a while, but it's the one that says where she keeps throwing in maybe bunnies or something like that. I can't remember what it is, but it could have been.
Bunnies with their twitchy little noses.
Yes, that one.
Yes, that's a good song.
Love that,
yeah, I love that. That is a real good song. I do quite like Spike's "Rest in Peace." That is quite an intense. Yeah, I like that. I do like that one.
I've got no idea what you're on about.
You need to watch, even if you just watch that episode, because it doesn't relate to anything. Well, it does a little bit relate to something else, but you can watch it on its own. That one, and that is a good feel-good episode.
I watched it on DVD as well. So I keep meaning to give it to my daughter to be like, I feel like you need to watch this.
yeah. She does. That's like a rite of passage to watch Buffy. That's what she needs to do.
It's good because she was like, I think it was more relatable because she was supposed to be our age at the time, 13, and she was like so kick-ass. It was unreal. Like,
yeah,
it was just...
like she was probably like the first sort of leading female that we were exposed to, like sort of our age range, I suppose.
Yeah, because I can't really think about what other popular programs were around when we were younger. Like, but my entire world was Buffy.
Yeah,
and then Angel was on after it.
Yeah. And then Lord of the Rings came along, and then hey ho, here we are today.
How have we got back to Lord of the Rings?
Amazing.
I did see this quote once. I think it were on Facebook, and it's like, you've got a really good friendship when you can talk about absolutely anything together. Usually conversations are around quite surreal things, like sick and poo and Lord of the Rings. It always reverts back to sick, poo, or Lord of the Rings.
Not sure anyone involved in Lord of the Rings are happy with that.
Not in a bad way, but like you're quite happy to talk about your bodily functions with your really good friends and stuff like that, and everything else just reverts back to Lord of the Rings. There's always a Lord of the Rings quote that you can come up with, definitely. Yeah.
See, my dad was really annoyed when Lord of the Rings became popular with the films because he was one of the, I read the books way before the films were even a thing person. So that means he always used to win at Trivial Pursuit all the time because obviously there was like a gazillion Lord of the Rings questions in there to throw people off. But now it's popular culture and everyone has seen it before. Like, he's just not as good.
He beat me.
I'm going to be Danny for right now.
You need to lower your voice if you walk to him.
You just speak like Danny and use really big words and be very eclectic. Not that I'm picking on him, love him, right? But yeah, so I know that he would be singing the praises of stuff like Seaspiracy, Cowspiracy, which are on Netflix. But on Amazon Prime, there is Blackfish. If anybody's ever sort of seen Blackfish or wanted to know the ins and outs of the orca stories that come out of theme parks such as SeaWorld and Natureland and all these different places. So there's all different ones. It's not just picking on SeaWorld and stuff like that. It is all the different aquatic parks and telling you the story behind what happens to the orcas and the dolphins and stuff like that. And it sort of culminates in that there was a death at one of the parks, and that they were trying to blame it on the trainer. And saying that it was sort of her fault that it had happened and stuff like that. And there's all this background to this whale that's, is essentially got really, really bored and really, really frustrated because he's been swimming around in a concrete tank for 25 years and he's not been out in open ocean. And it really does. Like, you need tissues at the ready because it is horrible when you're watching it and thinking about what's happened to these amazing and huge animals and what we've done to them just for our own enjoyment. So, yeah, if anybody wants a thought-provoking watch, Blackfish on Amazon is... I don't want to say good, but it is good. You know what sense I mean it in. So, yeah, that's my sensible Danny's head-on contribution tonight.
Ellie, why haven't you brought up yet the dinosaur one on Netflix that you and my 5-year-old son that's aimed at both your age group and a 5-year-old?
Because, well, the reason I haven't brought it up is because it's a programme your 5-year-old son loves, and I'm going to be like, I love it!
He's good though. He's surprisingly good. I will happily watch that with him.
I feel like you have to get past the part that there is going to be some more childish, like the script maybe is probably more childish, but yeah, I do. What is it? Jurassic World?
Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's an animated series, and it goes alongside the first Jurassic World film, isn't it?
Season 2 actually goes past it, but I don't think have you watched season 2?
I watched bits of it because he started it without me, so I've only seen like bits of it. But yeah, it's supposed to be so. Like obviously in Jurassic World, they have the new park and they and all the dinosaurs get out, obviously, as they do all the time, and then everyone escapes, and they're on the buses and stuff like that. So the kids are at this camp that's as part of Jurassic World when that happens, and their leaders and stuff are away, so they're sort of left to fend for themselves. So they're sort of out there, the camp gets wrecked and things like that, and then they get stranded on the island because the boats leave and they don't get off. So basically, they're stuck on Jurassic World Island with all the dinosaurs out. But it's for kids. It is for kids. But adults can enjoy it too.
It's for kids.
I said it's for kids because if you've got kids and they love dinosaurs, and this is definitely something for them, it is really, really good and actually quite well written. But as an adult, it's also fun to watch it with them. It's not like Peppa Pig, which makes you want to like.
Me and Ellie don't have children, so can I?
I've watched it.
Ellie's watched more of it than I have.
Oh.
I watched the whole second season in a day. I was up until like 1 a.m. watching it. And that's cool. It left on a cliffhanger, and I was like, I can't wait till season 3.
It's good though. It's genuinely really good. So yeah, it is technically aimed at children, but like
children and Ellie.
Yeah.
And then dinosaurs. They don't have an animated dinosaur series for adults, so you may as well just.
They do. It's just come out on Disney Plus. There is well, it's not animated. It's actual people in dinosaur suits because that's how cool we were in the 90s. That we didn't have the CGI that we have now. Have you not seen it? Dinosaurs from 90s. And
no, I saw that one, but I thought this looks terrible, so I skimmed past it.
Oh my word, no, you need to watch it. I mean, some of it is a bit cheesy, but it brings back my youth. I used to watch that when I were maybe about 8, 10, and yeah.
Hannah, you have to watch this Jurassic World cartoon, and we can expand on whether it's also for adults.
Yes, yeah, let's do that. We'll make a club.
Anything's for adults if we want it to be.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I guess we need to actually cover Disney Plus as well. There's an awful lot of things to binge on Disney Plus. A lot of things that us three have binged together on. So we are big Marvel fans. We watched WandaVision together, which is great.
Yes.
Ellie did not watch Winter Soldier, or have you yet?
No, I have not. I don't know why WandaVision really captivated me. I think it's because it was really different.
It was different.
Well, you've got to get past the first 3 episodes. That's what I'd say to anybody. You've got to get past them first 3 episodes, and then it hots up, doesn't it? And you're like, it answers so many questions to the rest of the Marvel world where you're like, that makes sense now. I understand why that happened now.
I feel like I watched that one because I really like Wanda in the films. I didn't watch Winter Soldier because the 2 main characters weren't my favourites in the film, so that one didn't appeal to me as much.
I wasn't too sure what I was going to make of Winter Soldier, but actually, it's the one that's more closest than watching it like an Avengers movie, but like a long one. Because it is that same sort of humour, is that sort of banter that they've got going on between them. But actually, it is quite good in terms of, I mean, it'll all obviously fit into this next universe and stuff that's happening. So I think you have to watch these to understand what's going to happen in the films and stuff, because I think they're all going to be linked and come back together again, especially the Doctor Strange multiverse one.
Yes.
Were very heavily linked to both of them, I think, because there was elements in Winter Soldier that would link to that. But yeah, I think it was all of them start off a bit like not quite sure what it'll be, but then like absolutely heat up into something amazing. Like it was all like getting over Captain America in this one.
Yeah.
So like getting over, like them processing him not being there anymore was quite a big key element of it. But then it all went into fake Cap and his descent. So it was great.
I read about it, so like, say if I didn't watch it, I would still know the references of what if they mentioned it.
It was really well acted. It was, again, it did a very good job of like keeping it tense, and like you know, the desire to watch the next episode was really good. So yeah, and I guess the reason we're talking about this is because tonight, this very moment in which we're recording said podcast, Loki is out. So after we've closed this podcast, I'll be going to watch it.
You are, yeah.
Hannah has foolishly promised to her other half that she will wait for him, and he's away. When's he back?
Tomorrow night, so I don't have to wait too long. It was going to be Friday night, and I was like, "Oh man, I can't wait that long."
Spoilers are everywhere.
No, I'm not going to look. That's it. I'm going to have a social media coup. I'm not going to look.
That's legit what you have to do, because if you don't have a social media coup, something will spoil it for you somewhere. You got WandaVision spoiled for you, didn't you, Ellie? At some point, I remember you saw it.
Yeah, for pretty much every episode, someone I had on Facebook wrote a review like the second it came out. So yeah, every time I knew what was going to happen.
I haven't deleted that person from your life. Or at least muted them, so you don't have to see any of that.
Oh, yes. Because I'm a nice person, Lizzie.
But Ellie, we haven't had a chance to get into this because we were saving it for the podcast, isn't watching Loki. Discuss.
I probably will watch it, but I maybe wait till all the episodes are out. So, like, again, I have certain characters in Marvel that I love, and Loki probably wasn't one of my favourites either.
What?
I know.
I mean, if you could see Lizzie's face right now, listeners, my word, she is disgusted. It looks like Ellie has just fed her some cat food. Right.
In his house. It's Johnny's favourite. It was his little, our wedding, we had little Marvel figures in our flowers, and Loki was Johnny's. Like, he's so good. Like, he goes on such a journey throughout. You know, he started off as the bad guy. When you go back and watch, like, First Avengers, and he's awful. You're like, I forgot he was this bad, because I really like him now.
Yeah.
Look, I like the character, but do I like the character enough to watch a whole series about him? I'm not sure.
I like Tom Hiddleston enough to.
My favourite characters were just different. Like, my favourite, like, obviously, like, I'm really excited for Black Widow film because I love Black Widow, and like my favourite was like Ant-Man, just because I love Paul Rudd. I just love him.
Paul Rudd, the man who never ages.
Oh my God, I think he gets younger.
He does. He does. He genuinely does. He looks younger now than he did in Friends.
Yes.
I will always call him Mike, even though the first time I saw him was clueless, I always call him Mike from Friends still. I'm like, Mike from Friends is in this. That's his name.
So I have a question to pose to you both. Now that we've sort of discussed a bit of everything, what are you excited about? What films coming out can you not wait for? Because we have been waiting for new releases for how long now? Like, it's been, 16 months, has it, since we've been waiting for these amazing new releases, and they're getting pretty backed up with some big names. What are you waiting for?
Black Widow, obviously. Very excited to see Black Widow. And the multiverse one, absolutely. But I think that's later on. I can't wait to see James Bond, because it's been so heavily put back and put back and put back and put back. Like, I just can't wait to see what they've actually done. I bet it's such a great film. So I can't wait to see that. I actually really would like to see the second version of A Quiet Place, which is out now, but I just haven't had a chance to go to the cinema to see it.
Oh, I absolutely do not like horror or thriller at all. I can't watch it.
I quite enjoyed that, actually. I don't think it was as bad, really.
I saw a clip of when she stands on the nail in the first one, and I was like, no.
It It was an interesting concept, actually, The Quiet Place. I quite liked it. But yeah, I'm not a massive fan of horror or anything like that. But actually, I quite enjoyed that. Although there's a really awfully sad bit in it, though. So, well, there's several awfully sad bits in it, though. But it's actually all right. Hannah, what are you excited to see?
Well, there's a lot in there. There's a lot coming out. Black Widow, can't wait to see that. There is a new Space Jam coming out as a basketballer. Can't wait to see that. A little bit worried, like when you're thinking, ooh, how far has it gone from the original? Are they going to keep a nod to the original?
I don't understand why they remake these films sometimes, because actually the original ones are good. Just make a different story. Don't remake the film that already everyone loves.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit apprehensive about it, but I'm definitely going to go and see it. The new Top Gun. Oh, yes, Maverick's back. I'm really looking forward to that, and I hope the soundtrack is as good as the original soundtrack, because I was talking to a colleague about this actually the other day, saying like that it used to be a big thing, the soundtrack to a film, whereas now it only ever seems to be sort of James Bond is like the
James
major
Bond and the only actually soundtrack I've bought recently is the Guardians of the Galaxy ones, because they're so good.
Yeah, and I think it's not a big thing anymore, is it? As who's the artist that's going to do it, and what's the soundtrack going to be? So I hope that Top Gun is a fantastic soundtrack. And Michael Keaton is coming back as Batman. Indy Jones has started shooting. Oh, my life is complete.
Ellie, what is on your to-do list?
I am frantically Googling what is coming out because
because you're not committed to the cause.
No.
I guess it doesn't have to be in cinema. It can be in actual streaming stuff. So have you expected any second seasons for anything?
Well, Jurassic World Season 3, whenever that one comes out, I will be there. I don't think I'm waiting for new seasons of anything. I think shows I'm currently watching, all the seasons are there because I am quite impatient, so I like knowing that I've got loads to watch.
Yeah.
No, I can't think off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't think I've actually, for a long time, been at a point where I'm like, I've got nothing to watch now. I've always got something queued up.
Yeah,
already.
I have.
I've got The Mandalorian when they bring out the new seasons of that, because I feel like we haven't given a shout out to Star Wars, and people probably sat here waiting like, come on, when is it?
Danny's role,
Danny would have been banging the Star Wars.
Star Wars is another one that I was forced to watch late to the party because
I've only watched them 2020 with COVID. That's when I watched them all. That was the first time I've ever seen them.
I was late to the party. My husband made me watch them before my son was born, and I think they're really good now. I've actually watched it a second time with my daughter now, introducing her to them, and I actually really like them. Mandalorian was a great series as well. That was really good.
And he's so cute, the little Grogu.
He's so baby Yoda, as he's not cold.
Just point out, I use the right name of Grogu, so just saying.
Star Wars fan right there.
I'm just helping out the people that maybe haven't watched it as much. But I'm just making it, for the masses.
Yeah.
One
I think
film
that tied up some loose ends as well, didn't it? I think Mandalorian definitely tied some loose ends up for us.
There's some spin-offs as well from that, isn't there, that's coming as well. That's quite exciting. That looks really good too. So, that's not the last we'll have seen.
Yeah.
One film that I think it'll be years till it comes out I am excited for is Avatar 2, because I loved the film Avatar, so I'll be very excited to see the second one.
See, I wasn't really that thrilled about it. I know it got a lot of awards and stuff like that, but it did not set my heart on fire.
I think it was good, wasn't it, in terms of the CGI, in terms of it was absolutely, because it were a complete breakthrough, wasn't it? That
I remember that the hype for that was huge.
Yeah, but it did drag on a bit, didn't it?
It's a long
word.
You're not on about films dragging on when you like Lord of the Rings.
How? Reynolds.
And we're back to Lord of the Rings.
I know, I told you, the conversation always comes back to Lord of the Rings. You want to be thankful, not talking about poo.
Right, well, Well, ladies, I think that wraps it up for us. It's been great talking to you both about what is coming out and what we're excited about and what we've already watched as well. I hope we've given you some ideas of things that you can watch.
Lord of the Rings.
Watched. Yeah. Other than Lord of the Rings. I watch Lord of the Rings. Definitely watch that.
Because it's definitely going to rain all summer, so you need plenty of films to watch anyway.
We will be back soon with our interview with the Aquapark guy that I did tease out last week. That is coming. We've had a few technical problems, but that interview is coming. We're very excited to talk to him. If you've got any questions that you want to submit to him, absolutely send them in. So if you are interested in things like that, you've never been, or it's something you want to ask, then now is a good chance to submit them in. So you just have to email marketing@lincolncityfoundation.co.uk. We'd like to actually love to read some things out. So actually, if you want to get in touch and talk to us about your favourite films, you want to absolutely disagree with Ellie, I assume, because me and Hannah are always right, then feel free to send those comments in and we'll happily tell her about it. Do hit the subscribe button because it doesn't give you a notification every time another podcast is released, and pop us a little like because it's nice to know that you like what we're saying. So thanks very much for listening. Bye.